So this has just been hanging out below the ground for all this time, and we just rediscovered it. I keep saying it, but now knowing this, can you even imagine what is really below our feet?
How creepy is that to be going through catacombs you can't see for a rave in the catacombs? Unbelievable. Am I tripping or does that look like a pyramid?
With many people saying this is all to build up to a ritual of some kind, but what do you think?
Build up to a ritual, something like the Olympic Games, maybe?
Here's what he explained to me, so please, for the love of God, listen to this and don't ever try going in there. There's people that live in there full time. There is a community of people that live in the catacombs, okay? And they don't want tourists going in there. Well, they'll run up to you, grab your flashlight and grab your map and then run away.
Doesn't this look familiar? Don't they got one of these in front of the White House, y'all? What are these? Ley line beams? There's gotta be something significant about this. Who made this? Welcome back to another disturbing and creepy video. These videos may cause you to rethink your entire reality or question everything. Be sure to keep your head on a straight swivel. Before we get into this video, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Now let's dive into these waters.
I went to the forbidden side of the Paris catacombs, where the tourists don't go. The bones cover the floors deep underground. Someone made a tower out of the millions of corpses. It's rare to find skulls. People like to collect them.
Yeah, I don't know if I could comfortably walk over these bones, you know, just hearing them snap while you're walking over them, just, man. And then you're waist deep in skeleton juice, necromancer juice. Come on, man, y'all gotta, you ain't gonna be able to wash that off. Necromancer juice?
Path, you are underground in the catacombs of Paris.
Paris catacombs are a network of underground tunnels that contain the bones of more than 6 million people, who were moved there from overcrowded cemeteries in the 18th and 19th centuries. The catacombs are open to the public and offer a unique historical and cultural experience. They are located under the Place d'Enfroy-Chauchereau in the 14th arrondissement of Paris. The catacombs are also known as the Empire of the Dead because of the inscription on the entrance gate. For images and detailed information, you can check the Urbex abandoned Instagram page.
Am I tripping or does that look like a pyramid? So they're literally crawling on bones? Oh my goodness. If you guys don't really know what's going on with Paris right now in the Olympics, I highly suggest you check out these two videos. Yeah, they go into in-depth covering everything from the ceremonies to the lights getting turned out. There's a lot of crazy things. And the ancient church building is the only thing that was lit up during the power outage. So that was fascinating. So yeah, definitely check those two videos out if you haven't already. I just wanted to dive even deeper into the Paris catacombs I remember hearing about, but I never looked into it. But we're going to continue to dive underground Paris. Everyone is saying it smells extremely bad. What's going on with the Olympics? Something tied with underground? I don't know, but we're going to try to dive in and see what we can uncover. And there's a few ancient structures in Paris I wanted to go over as well. You guys better lock in and buckle up because you're in for another creepy video. How creepy is that to be going through catacombs you can't see for a rave in the catacombs? Unbelievable. That's Buck. Y'all out of control. They are having underground raves. Man, y'all doing something sinister and creepy down in Paris, man. It goes down in the catacombs. Unbelievable.
Exploring underground in Paris. Discovering a rave while exploring underground in Paris. Discovering a rave while exploring underground in.
How cool would that be, though? I'll be a little scared, though. If I'm down there exploring and I don't expect to see anybody and I run into a rave going on, that could be the vampires off Blade or something going on down there. Maybe this is where they got that idea. Now that I'm thinking about it, you guys remember the movie Blade? Where the vampires were getting it in underground? Tell me this didn't look like that.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to...
Pushing in the direction of less and less freedom.
How many of y'all would do this? Be honest. How many of y'all would go to Paris and go underground to the rave? Let me know in the comments below. Catacomb rave, man. That's unbelievable.
Underground tunnel filled with millions of skulls as decoration that has been funded by the government, and we are all in deep danger. People were horrified after finding a dystopian city right under our feet filled with tens of millions of bodies that prove that satanic rituals and biblical events are real and we are not safe. Deep in Paris lies one of the most largest haunting catacombs where the government buried over 70 bodies per hour for 12 years. Being that the population in Paris was around 250,000 and they buried over 6 million bodies, many people believe the bodies were not just from Paris.
Hold on. That's not adding up. It's almost like they were dumping them there from the reset. That definitely doesn't add up. If you look at all these, this was definitely something on a major scale. What? I have no idea.
With the same thing happening in Ukraine, the US, Italy, Malta, and more, having 180-mile-long tunnels of just bones, including them in circles and even skulls and bone thrones, all buried in the exact same way. Many wonder how all the designs were so similar from across the world, even before there was any communication. With many people saying this is all to build up to a ritual of some kind, but what do you think?
You mean something that build up to a ritual, something like the Olympic Games, maybe? Again, if you haven't watched those videos, I got 2 videos where we go very in depth. Check those out. This is part 3.
Hey, PSA, don't fucking do that.
Let's talk about the catacombs and why she is 100% correct. You should never do that. So the entire city of Paris is sitting on top of an entire catacomb network. And the part that you visit for the museum is just one small little portion of the catacombs. That's the part that you're allowed to go in. That's the part that's reinforced. You go with a tour guide. It's safe. You're allowed to do that. But there's catacombs under the entire city. And if you move to Paris, it will not take you very long to find somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, where the entrances are, how to get in. I know where the entrances are. And for me, for a long time, I was like, I want to go in there. I want to go in there. That was my plan. I literally bought a headlamp for that. Like, I bought a headlamp for the purpose of going into the catacombs, and turns out, great purchase because I use it all the time. But that's what I bought it for. Now, in that video, she explains why you shouldn't do that, and the reasons that she gives are they're huge, they span for literally miles, people get lost in there, like it's literally happened where people get lost and they die in there. It's not safe, you don't know where it's reinforced, like it's a risky thing to do and it's kind of stupid. Good reasons. I have better reasons. So I dated a guy, a Parisian guy who grew up here, and he's the type of guy who enjoys breaking the rules. So he's definitely gone in there and he has friends who goes in there. And I had said to him, I want to go in there. And he's like, I mean, we could go, but you can't go without me. And I was like, why? Because then also we broke up and I was like, I'm going. Like, I know where the entrance is, you know? Here's what he explained to me. So please, for the love of God, listen to this and don't ever try going in there. There's people that live in there full time. There is a community of people that live in the catacombs, okay? And they don't want tourists going in there, whether it's tourists like Americans, tourists like French people. They don't want people going in there, period. What he told me was there are people down there when you go in with your map, because obviously you need your map to figure out where you're going because it's winding little corridors. You're going to climb through water. You're going to get disgusting, by the way. There's parts where you have to crawl. It's very confusing down there, right? And there's no cell service and it's a risky situation. You need your map with you to know where the hell you're going. He said to me that there's people that live down there and what they will do is when they see you coming in with your map, with your flashlights, here's what they'll do. They'll run up to you, grab your flashlight and grab your map and then run away. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You go down with me with my little headlamp and my little map and I'm like, woo, we're going on an adventure, which is illegal, by the way. And then someone runs up to me, imagine, grabs my map out of my hand and my headlamp and I'm just sat there like, oh my God, where do I go? It's horrible, but like that happens. And that is horrifying. So that's why he said to me, if we ever go, you have to go with me because you need to go with someone who knows what they're doing. And also, like, I know some of the people who he's very indirect, but he's like, I know people. So like maybe he's friends with the snatchers. I have no idea. But I heard that information and I was like, say less. I'm not going in there. I'm never going in there. It's just a bad idea. And it might seem like cute and funny, but like it's not. You're going to get disgusting. You could die. Like, just please don't ever do it. Please don't ever do it. And no, I will not tell you where the entrances are. No, never. There are other ways to have fun adventures in Paris. Go to Père Lachaise Cemetery and try to summon the ghosts that live there. That's way more fun, I promise. Okay, that's all. Follow me for more Paris tips and tricks.
Yikes. Y'all be careful, man. Don't do nothing crazy, y'all.
Use some of the original footage, so please be advised. In the early 2000s, a video was discovered inside one of the scariest places on Earth. It's called the Catacombs, and it's one of the world's largest mass graves. To get to it, you need to wriggle through these claustrophobia-inducing tunnels hundreds of feet below the city of Paris. The video is found miles and miles into one of the least explored sections of the catacombs. The video is largely uneventful until he starts following these arrows that he sees on the wall and that he sees on the ground. And these arrows bring him to these rooms that are completely full full of human bones, which catacombs experts have no idea where they are. Like, they don't know where this is. Then out of nowhere, something spooks him and he starts sprinting deeper and deeper into the catacombs until he drops his camera, and then all you hear is his panic breathing and footsteps as he disappears. While nobody knows what actually happened to this guy, everybody seems to agree that the footage is authentic.
Let me type it in. All right, y'all, I found it. It doesn't look like it's the best quality, but this is the best quality I could find, y'all. All right, it says the catacombs, a popular tourist attraction in France, contains dozens of tunnels filled with human bones in which anyone can easily get lost if they're not careful. The footage in this video allegedly is from a camera that a man dropped in the catacombs in the 1990s. It was later supposedly discovered by a group of people exploring the tombs. It is really creepy to contemplate why exactly this guy was running in panic.
It's very bizarre. These arrows point in a direction. Occasionally also he stops to photograph roomfuls of bones, which means that he's very, very deep inside the catacombs. So basically he's filming what he's seeing very deep inside the catacombs, other than the point of view shots or pictures of human bones. The catacombs for centuries. So it is possible with these paintings that we may be able to retrace his itinerary to some extent. After about 4, we hear his breathing get louder and louder, as though something was scaring him. He's frightened, he's frightened. Occasionally he stops, perhaps to try to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors. He's running faster and faster and faster, deeper and deeper into the catacombs. And all of a sudden, we hear his breathing get louder and louder, as though something was scaring him. He's frightened, he's frightened. Occasionally he stops, perhaps to try to decide which way to run among all the many different corridors. He's running faster and faster and faster, deeper and deeper into the catacombs. And all of a sudden, this video camera
You guys think, was that tape real or was it a hoax? Did someone make it all up or did someone really get lost in there and drop their camera? Let me know in the comments below. But let's keep diving on this underground tunnels. This is a special video. We got a lot to cover. There's a lot of ancient structures in Paris. They have a great museum that I just want to briefly dive into and see what we can uncover. She is ready to explore the catacombs. She's got her Indiana Jones shirt and hat on. I ain't mad at her. Go ahead and go Dark Waters 9 on them.
Our last location lurks deep below the city of Paris and is one of the most unbelievable places I've ever experienced, and one that I recommend having a strong stomach for. Once you've finished marveling at the Eiffel Tower or strolling along the Champs-Élysées, don't forget to make your way down to the catacombs of Paris.
I'm sorry, guys. That's what I wanted us to research. The Champs-Élysées. Look at that structure, y'all. We're going to be covering that later. Let me write that down. Look at it. Y'all ever seen that before? I thought it was called the Notre Dame something. But what was this giant bridge for? Look how tall it was, like it was made for giants. The champs.
Élysée, don't forget to make your way down to the catacombs of Paris. Believe it or not, this network of tombs lies directly underneath the city and is home to the remains of over 6 million bodies. What? What started as a solution to relieve the city's overflowing cemeteries turned into a hotspot for tourists everywhere, and there's no feeling quite like being deep underground in the dark, surrounded by millions of skeletons. Keep in mind, there are no elevators down to this area, so you will be making the 131-step descent by foot.
This is my first time watching it. I've been waiting for the perfect time to watch this. What better time to dive into the Paris catacombs than right now with all this drama with the Olympics and everything going on? Maybe some of this energy is venerating to the surface. I don't know, but let's try to dive in and see what's going on.
I was looking at this photo of the Greater Cemetery of Milan, the largest cemetery in Milan, Italy, and thought it was interesting that the 1800s group only seemed to know how to construct columns and incredibly detailed architecture. And as I kept zooming in, it hit me that this thing is bigger and goes underground, with the stairs right here in the center, which brings us to today's main topic. The catacombs all over the world. Yet another topic that we are not fully told about in our mainstream classes. A catacomb is classified as an underground cemetery, subterranean passageways, chambers, used as burial places. But these are no normal burial. They stack the bones in a decorated manner, as if it's an art of some kind, as if these acts were done deliberately. And these were their trophies. Do you want to know where the previous civilization might have gone? I can't make any claims, but there are clues in the catacombs. Where the largest catacomb system in the world is located in Odessa, Ukraine, a man-made tunnel system with over 1,500 miles of catacombs carved into the limestone beneath the city, dating back to the exact time period that we're talking about here. Right before the 17 and 1800s, where the catacombs are on 3 levels and reach a depth of 60 meters below sea level. So when you think that everything on the surface is all that there is, think again. And these are the catacombs that we're told about. So who's to say there aren't more, covered by the mud and dirt? In Odessa, it's challenging to prove even a rough estimate of the number of bodies in the catacombs, as there is limited documentation and many areas remain unexplored or inaccessible. So they don't even know how many were put down into these 3-level tunnel systems that extend for 1,500 miles. Now, Ukraine is not the only catacomb in the world. We know this. The most popular one coming in Paris, France, where we are told that this catacomb alone holds the remains of more than 6 million people, and goes on to say that they extend south from the gate of hell. To get a sense of what this is all about, this is not a pleasant sight. And we get the excuse, in my opinion, that these were created as part of an effort to eliminate the effects of the city's overwhelming cemeteries. And the narrative yet again hits the dates we are discussing when it tells us that this all took place in the 1700s. What were they doing moving 6 million people in the mid-1700s in just Paris alone? And the most insane part about this is they show it off as an attraction. Buy your tickets here and see what they've done, extending to the gate of hell, in their words. This is all information that has been sitting here for a very long time, and all information that we, for some reason, never really looked at collectively. But now is the time for all of us to get a clearer understanding of what really took place in the past. Catacombs all over the world on their website explaining that these go down 131 steps under Paris, France. Tunnels that cover nearly 2,000 acres right below the city that we all walk on, where we can explore about 1 mile of this place when it has 200 miles of bone-lined walls. And yet again, 2 for 2 today, though only a small part is explored and open to the public. So we are getting an understanding that this 6 million total people is probably much more. And again, we have all asked, where did this advanced civilization go? I am simply researching.
What is this structure? Man, this is more impressive than Notre Dame, in my opinion. What is this? This is ether conducting for sure.
And sharing what I find. But we can all speculate that it's possible that they are all right below us. A major reason, in my opinion, that these cities hold a very powerful energy, one that draws a mass amount of people to them. Once something major happens in a location, I think we can forever sense it, whether it's good or bad. The catacombs, a topic I didn't want to cover too early into this research. I felt like we are at the point now, after 71 episodes, that we are ready for it. And we're all ready to understand even more about this topic. And we all understand with a photo like this, that all of these remains needed to be separated. This is not a normal way to bury somebody. This looks like an award of some kind, like a trophy. Like whoever did this accomplished something and are creating some kind of trophy for themselves. These are all intertwined with each other. And again, how many more of these are below our cities that we don't know about and aren't told about or being restricted from us? St. Stephen's Cathedral, located in Vienna, Austria, where we of course and also houses the remains of around 11,000 people in its catacombs. And we are just getting started today. Welcome to episode 72 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. And a fire narrative, and 11,000 people buried underneath it, is selling tickets. You can visit them on a tour. Just buy your tickets today. This is unbelievable. Here's a photo from the 1920s of the exit from the catacombs, where we can see that we are just scratching the surface. Some of these buildings clearly have a different purpose than what we are told. This guy is giving his rundown of the experience. And in the middle of it, he says that they renovated it 50 years ago to make it modern looking. Then we have the catacombs of Lima, where they tell us that in 1546, they began construction of the Basilica and Convent of San Francisco in Lima, located in Peru, not California. And this included the catacombs where there are another 25,000 bodies lying in it that we are told about. Again, buried in these weird artistic designs, the catacombs or crypts of Lima are considered the largest in the entire continent. And we are told that these enormous wells, 10 meters deep, filled with bones and skulls, the well's original purpose was to preserve the old buildings from earthquakes. And they also tell us, for a third time today, that there is most likely more to these catacombs that we are not able to see. When they say, it is believed that there is a network of paths and secret passages that connect different buildings. Now remember, before 1943, the public was unaware of these catacombs in Lima. So for me to suggest that there are many other catacombs all around the world is a pretty basic suggestion. And remember, the experts of the 1940s figured out exactly who these people were and gave us the full truth about the dates. No. Let's read that first paragraph. The neatly organized bones for geometric patterns in sizable open ossuary just below the floor of the church, monastery, and library. And before 1943, nobody knew that was there. Now, let's ask a question. How many churches around the world have the exact same thing going on underneath the floor that we aren't being told about? Is this the reason that when you walk into these places, you feel a massive presence? I'll go deeper into this. We have an episode coming up where we went into New York City. I went inside the St. Patrick's Cathedral, and here's part of the video that I got. Now, I'm not saying there are catacombs under this church, but when I asked this guy at the front in the suit if there was a basement, he looked at me very strange and said, absolutely not. But did let me know something. He gave me information that I needed to hear, and that is that there is supposedly an even older St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. And this guy let me know that this one did have catacombs under its floors. Now, if I'm going to speculate at this point, I would say that the one that I was in has catacombs as well, but that's just my opinion. But yet again, sold as an attraction where you get tickets to go and see these bones. And we all know how construction works. There are steps that you have to take in order to build a building. You build the foundation first. This means that the catacombs were constructed before these churches. And then the church is strategically placed on top. Why would a church build on top of these geometrically placed bones of, in my opinion, the previous civilization? And then they profit off of it, selling tickets all over the world, showing it off as an attraction to us. In my opinion, the new population. And who is buying these tickets? And then we have the Brno ossuary, an underground ossuary that were rediscovered in 2001. So this has just been hanging out below the ground for all this time, and we just rediscovered it. I keep saying it, but now knowing this, can you even imagine what is really below our feet? And who did this? Who set all these bones up like this? And yet again, it is under the Church of St. James, where it holds an estimated 50,000 people, making it the second largest ossuary in Europe that we know about. And remember, all of these bones are laid in a pattern, like we've been told, and they are done like this all over the world, not just in Europe, meaning that the same group did this all over the world. And they tell us it's because the graves were too populated. Yet they go on to dismantle the bones and put them into geometric patterns, which makes no sense at all. Why would you randomly do that? It doesn't add up.
I apologize. This is great. But he's got a great point. If it's overpopulated, why do this? You know, why stack them in this artistic pattern? Why? Y'all on some evil over there.
You would preserve them properly and lay them the way they were found. This feels much deeper than simply transporting due to overpopulation of an area and then building a church right on top of them over and over. So who do they tell us is responsible for placing these bones into geometric patterns? Who did this? According to walksofitaly.com, it was just your everyday quarrymen. You know, those quarrymen just laid human skulls into perfect geometric shapes for fun back in the day. This was their side hobby, of course. No. Let's read this. Despite the ritual with which the bones were transferred, the bones had simply been dumped into the tunnels in large heaps. Slowly but surely, the quarrymen lined the walls with tibias and femurs, punctuated with skulls, which form the basis of most of the decorations that tourists see today. This is unbelievable. Now, do we really think that this was just the quarrymen that just randomly decided to do this in every single continent in the world? Or do we think that this is a front story for the group that is truly responsible for this? You tell me. And that is just for Paris, France. So what about in Peru? You know, 6,077 miles away from each other. Do you think those quarrymen, they just sent their local raven on a mission across the Atlantic Ocean? They need to make sure they also set those overpopulated bone dumps into perfect geometric patterns. Or do you think this might be a lie? When this website lets us know that the ones in Lima, Peru, the way the femurs, tibia, and craniums are placed, echo a symbolic or ritualistic intention, and goes on to say, the neatly organized bones from geometric patterns in sizable open ossuary just below the floor of the church. And now when we go back to the St. James Church and go on their website and find that today, the ossuary at the Church of St. James is an attraction for tourists. So right under this floor, you have 50,000 that have no true identity, just overpopulation, moving random people that were just crowding the place, just taking up too much room and time to put them in the geometric layouts all over the world. And most of it being off limits to the public. Are you trusting the mainstream story so far? Should I keep going? Should we just show that this fire narrative all over the world may be a much deeper meaning? Is this the location where the catacombs are located? Because in 1515, the St. James Church, we're told, that the finished presbytery was affected by the fire that caused the roof to fall in and subsequently destroyed all the altars. Is this the nod, showing us the locations of where they are buried? I'm not sure, but we have seen it multiple times now, and things are starting to get very interesting if you ask me. Coded messages, hidden clues, all written within these narratives that have been waiting for us to discover them for years. I've said it before, but it does feel exactly like a game, a puzzle that we are supposed to solve, all within this narrative that we've been given. Clues that when you know what you're looking for, seem to stare at you right in the face. Let's take a minute and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. You are all the reason that this channel is growing to a bigger and bigger audience every single week. We're also over on Rumble, X, TikTok, and Instagram. So let's go deeper. Let's take a look at this map. Right here in the center, we are given the St. John's Church, where we know right underneath it is all of these catacombs, all of these bones. And it looks like it is the central location of the entire city. Going back to my point, that this might be the reason that so many people today are pulled into these cities on a much deeper level without them even realizing it. You can see the same thing going on in Paris with their catacombs. Like, everybody is gathering around it and they don't even realize it because it's below their feet. And to prove my point, let's show another one and go back to the first one that we talked about, Odessa, Ukraine, where there is clearly an attraction going on here to this central point. It's not like the catacombs are on the outside of the city. They are dead center. Even the old St. Patrick's Cathedral is dead center on this land layout of Lower Manhattan. And the same exact thing with the new one that we saw, went inside of, and will be covering in an upcoming episode. Another centralized catacombs location in Alexandria, Egypt, where the city is circling around it again. And the inside of these ones are pretty intense. They consist of 3 levels, cut through solid rock. Visitors can reach the first level through a breach in the rotunda wall, which of course was made at an unknown date. This leads to a hall of Caracalla, in which the bones of horses and humans were found. They were found. We even have the St. Paul's catacombs, where we have catacombs all the way out on this little island of Malta. And again, right under the church. And here, they give us the layout, the one that's available to the public. And you can see that this is intricate. This is not done by your average cowboy or your random quarry man. They were very advanced and precise with what they were doing all over the world. So what we see on the ground is clearly not all to this place that we live. There is much more below our feet, where I have some incredible things planned for this channel. The more that it grows. The more that it grows, the easier it will get for us to do things. One thing's for sure, and that is that we have a lot more to discover in places that have been here all along. And now that we know that they are there, we can go even further into this research. And do we all understand how this is all connected now when we can go back to episode 68, when we saw the Tron Kirk, and at that time we didn't know, but now we do, located in Edinburgh, Scotland, do we all remember what we read? Do you see now how the more information that we have, the more we understand when we read that the church floor was removed in 1974 to allow excavation of the entire floor level, where we now understand what is underneath these floors of so many of these churches all over the world. We now understand most likely what they found in 1974. We are unlocking it all, and we're just getting started. Do you remember when we found catacombs all over the world? I think we're all ready to go back and take it even further, exposing what is below our feet in nearly every one of our cities without us ever thinking about it.
This is 2 parts. This is the second part. He made 2 different videos. Be sure you go check out my lunch break and support that man.
It. Are we all attracted to these cities, these locations, for a reason? A reason that you weren't aware of, a much darker truth than you were ever told about. And do you remember when I showed you all that these catacombs are right underneath the floors of these churches, places that were built with the knowledge that these bones of the past were placed into geometric shapes right underneath your feet on Sundays. When we go to Southampton, England, where we are told one of the strangest places in pre-war Southampton was the catacomb beneath the All Saints Church at the corner of High Street and East Street. And remember, this is all located every single time in the dead center of the city, with everything circling around it, with its location, Southampton city center, of course telling us that there was a previous church, where we know this is a reoccurring pattern in the narrative at this point, where they say that the first church was described as very ancient, and they supposedly demolished it, where after everything that we know here, I believe that there was only one church on this site, and it was the one that we are looking into, the supposed second church, where this story gets interesting. The foundation stone was laid by the Grand Master of the Freemasons, a church that they knew catacombs were underneath it, because they tell us down here that the building was completed in just 4 years, from 1791 to 1795, despite hardly having any funding. Completed in 1795 in 4 years, where the catacombs of the original church remained intact and were, of course, incorporated into the new building, showing that we are correct yet again, that these catacombs were there first and then the church came after, and were supposedly ancient, as we were told from earlier. Where ancient, in my opinion, meaning from the previous civilization, where a major event took place, and these bones have been placed underneath the floors of these palace-like structures all over the world for a designed purpose, when it goes on to tell us that the catacombs reached beyond the actual building, extending under High Street itself. And this is what we are told. We also know from episode 72 that these catacombs are mostly off limits to the public, where we are only shown a small portion, where we know that these most likely extended throughout the entire city. With the new organ being installed in the church in 1861, manufactured by Bevington and Son, where the son is not Bevington's son, in my opinion. I believe that the son is the mason, guiding the way to use the organ to connect with the people above and below the floorboards. When we have shown, According to ScienceDirect.com, piezoelectric effect is the ability of certain materials, including bone, to generate an electrical charge in response to mechanical loading, where we are finding out, in my opinion, how these so-called churches are being used and how they are operating as a machine. The heart of any bone-conducted system is the vibrator, which convert amplified sound. The mechanical vibration, the organ, connecting with these bones, as well as the people that are alive and above the catacombs. So I will ask again, are you 100% sure that you fully understand why you are inside one of these old world buildings on Sunday? Do you know who created these buildings and for which purpose? And I am not saying that all of them are like this, but we have proven that we should all be very careful where we go and what we are being used for. Do you understand that the people that use these buildings throughout history, they fully understand?
Just real quick, I want to mention on Harvard, my Harvard episode, if any of you guys seen the church at Harvard, they have an organ very similar to this. So that makes me wonder about that church in Harvard. There possibly could be a catacomb under that.
Much more to this world than we are told, where it seems that they fully understand how to connect vibrations with bones or music from an organ. An electromagnetic field is produced that excites the magnet element and counterweight, producing movement or vibration within the actuator to change the electrical signal to vibration that can move.
Just like Davy Jones on Pirates of the Caribbean, when he was using that organ to move the ship. Man, I'm telling you, there's something going on with organs.
Through the bone-conducted pathway to stimulate the cochlea inside of your ear, next to your brain. Do you understand what's going on now? Where this subject is much deeper than the world understood before, where the previous civilization was taking advantage of knowledge, an incredible understanding of human anatomy, possibly being able to manipulate people, and being able to connect it through vibration within a contained environment where the bones extend out into the city, in my opinion, creating a vibration that reaches everyone in the radius, whether you attended on Sunday or not, where I bet you probably didn't think to research where the nearest catacomb was before purchasing your home, where in 1914, the graveyard was basically decommissioned, a removal of religious blessing, which is not fooling anybody. It's still there today. Removing the headstones, where it became a children's playground in the 1930s. When the church was bombed in 1940, and they tell us that 403 people were transferred out of the catacombs and moved to Hollybrook Cemetery, but others had disintegrated, where we can all take an educated guess at this point that there was more than 403 people in the catacombs, and they are most likely still in there, where the church was then demolished, where sources, of course, do not indicate exactly when. And now, today, they have shops on top of them, where they, of course, have the right in there, where I threw it out there a few episodes ago. Suggestive may be the location of where these catacombs are all located. This may be the nod, where we are finding clues and getting closer and closer to the truth. And we're just getting started. Welcome to episode 78 of my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. And I want to thank all of our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com, to Isaac Wright, Melissa Edgar, Biggles, Clayton Lamar, Ultimus Maximus, Noble Task Homestead, John Adams, Easy and Whitney, Roberts O'Zolins, to Crypto Schizo. Rick, you guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. Now knowing what we know and knowing what may be under the floor of more of these structures than we are actually told about, where it is possible that they didn't even know about this when they found these places. And this was possibly done by the previous civilization, which is why we are seeing our current civilization, the founders, or the finders, excavating these floors now all over the world. Or they call it renovating the floor, where we know what renovation really means, and we can see that there is so much more underneath these structures all over the world, where in my opinion, they lie to us and say, "We don't know what is beneath the floor," says director of the Department of Ancient Sciences. This is the guy who is responsible for the archaeological excavations of the entire floor area during the restoration of the pavement. So we don't know what we shall find. Where I think we know that they know exactly what they're gonna find. Are we seeing what's going on a little clearer? Comment below and let me know what you're thinking right now. I really enjoy hearing everybody's opinions and comments.
I'm thinking that every time there's a fire narrative, it's quite possible it's a catacomb under that boy. And like how he's saying, those organs playing, those bones are acting as an amplifier for the organ. As far as I'm concerned, from the vibration off them boys, man, this is diabolical. Diabolically disturbing. We need to change the titles. Diabolically disturbing TikToks that will make you rethink reality, because it's going crazy.
Or even just your reactions and feelings about what we're exposing to the world. Things that 99% of people may have never known before today. And it is a great time to be a part of this community. A community that is growing faster and faster every single week. Where the pavement stones periods, ranging from the medieval period. Medieval, the old world. This taking place in March of 2022. And this place is home to the Holy Fire Ceremony, if you can believe that. And this is the location, we are told, that Jesus' empty tomb is, and where he was buried and resurrected, and where he was crucified. This is known as the Church of the Resurrection, located right in the center of Jerusalem. Yet again, and we've shown how the Mappa Mundi in episode 70 told us that Jerusalem was the true center of our map. And the center of Jerusalem is where Jesus was supposedly buried and crucified. Possibly an extremely significant thing that they found underneath the floors, where it of course has the fire in its with renovations from the year 1555, where Donkeys Incorporated were shipping the materials by moonlight, when a fire severely damaged the structure again in 1808 due to a cow tipping over the candle. Oh, wait, no, that was supposedly in Chicago. So they don't tell us how any of these fires, where there are clearly nods, coded messages, where the more the better the treasure. Is this what we're seeing here? The remains of the kings may still be in the unmarked pits under the church's pavement. They may be, they might be. They say they are unsure, but I think they know exactly what is going on underneath that floor when they have another 1840. So after 2 years, $11 million later, of careful archaeological work, the so-called experts have wrapped up, where the excavation, of course, required closing it off to the public, the site where Jesus is believed to have been buried. So they're not going to tell us exactly what they found. They are, of course, going to have to give us something, or too many people will start asking questions. So they tell us that they found some coins and fragments of wall cladding that was covered with graffiti, telling us they did other restoration work of other parts of the basilica floor, where they uncovered an old world drainage system. We know that they did not rip up the entire floor of this place. $11 million. Block it off from the public. All for some coins, some graffiti, and a drainage system. I think we're all beyond that point of knowledge. We all know that they found something much more interesting and meaningful. My guess is they found tunnel systems and catacombs. Let me know what you think they really found in the comments. Let's all take a second and thank all of our badge members, all of our Patreons put to that the faithful believe that the floor covers the tomb where Jesus was put to rest after his crucifixion. So we know that a lot of these churches are home to much more under the ground. Even in Italy, they have the Catacomb Domitilla, one of the largest and most ancient underground cemeteries in Rome. One of them, where it holds an underground basilica, where you can of course buy your tickets today, profiting off of yet another catacomb. It is nice of them to have a student discount. Wow, they tell us that these were rediscovered and home to more than 26,000 tombs. These catacombs are part of a network of almost 40 catacombs that lie right underneath the city of Rome, serving as a burial place for more than 500,000 people. And now I know that we are 100% correct. We have confirmation that the catacombs were there and built first, where I was getting comments saying that that was possibly not the case when I suggested it in episode 72. Well, here we go. The basilica was built over the catacombs, and we know this now. What a very strange place to put a church on top of skulls and femurs that we know are placed into geometric patterns, bones that have to be boiled, cleaned up, and polished, and then put into place. They were not simply moved due to overcrowding the cemetery. We know now there is something much deeper to these catacombs than we were originally told. And today, we have found missing clues. We have shown that there are so many more catacombs around the world than we were told, with networks of catacombs all under your feet in Rome. We have this documented now. We understand that these churches are most likely connecting with these bones through vibration. These bones that have been there for a very long time, a previous civilization that was here before us. And we know now that they are and always have been underneath our streets, underneath our cities, possibly used as ritualistic sites, where the catacombs also served as a meeting place to pray and worship in secret, where these underground catacombs are no longer a secret. And I believe they were never meant to be a secret. These are clues. As I have said in the past, this feels too much like a game for all of us to solve, with coded messages, connecting clues. All of it is out there for us to find, leading us deeper and deeper to finding the truth about our true past and possibly our future.
I don't know what to say about them finding the actual buried place where Jesus was, to the vibrations, to the organs. This is just unreal. It's disturbing to think that all these mega ancient world churches could possibly have catacombs under them. But if it has organs, if they still have the organs there, like, the actual organs they play, like Davy Jones, it's a strong possibility that there's a catacomb under there. But what came first is the question: the catacombs or the churches? There's seriously something diabolical if the catacombs were there first, but I have no idea. You guys let me know your thoughts below on this one, please. Shout out to My Lunch Break again. That was a banger.
Priesthoods brainstorm. The building broke and flowed into the streets, and that's when they decided to put the bodies into the catacombs. Over 6 million bodies are buried here.
Doesn't this look familiar? Don't they got one of these in front of the White House, y'all? What are these? Ley line beams?
The Petit Palais. This is a fine art museum with a beautiful garden.
Look at that entrance, y'all. He's moving quick, man. It takes a minute. It looks like they probably designed these for giants. Look how big the entrance is. Muggs was walking around 12 feet like it was normal.
Art museum with a beautiful garden to have a coffee inside. The Champs-Élysées is a pretty long street, and you will find plenty of luxury shops, but also fast food restaurants and big popular brands. It's a mix of everything. At the end of the street, you can find the iconic...
This is what I was looking for, y'all. This ancient structure. They keep telling me it's called something different every time. Arc de Triomphe. Triomphe. There's gotta be something significant about this. Who made this?
Arc de Triomphe, and to finish your day perfectly, you can get a dinner at Le Drugstore to enjoy a beautiful meal with a view on the monument. The Champs-Élysées worth the visit, but in my opinion, it's definitely not the most beautiful street in Paris. What do you think about the Champs-Élysées? Tell me in the comments, and click the link in bio to discover my selection of the best places in Paris. One day with me at the...
Wow, they got one in Spain too that's identical to it? So you mean they got one in Spain that looks like this? And then they got one in Paris? It's not adding up, guys. This was made from the same builders, if you ask me. This is beyond fascinating. I can't get enough of these structures. I can literally look at that all day and be in amazement, like the moon. Who did this, you know?
Underrated landmarks in the world. This is one of the most underrated landmarks in the world. This is Arc de Triomphe, located in Paris, France. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's just a big arch, right? Wrong. This bad boy is a symbol of triumph, resilience, and French pride. First off, look at this beauty. Majestic doesn't even begin to describe it. Standing at the end of the Champs-Élysées, it's like the grand finale of a spectacular show. The architecture alone will leave you speechless. Did you know that underneath this arch lies the tomb of the unknown soldier? Yeah, it's not just a monument, it's a tribute to the soldiers who fought and died for France during World War I. And let's not forget the view. Climb to the top and you'll be greeted with a panoramic view of Paris that'll blow your mind. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Notre Dame, they all look even better from up there. Let us know what you think in the comments. Arc de Triomphe, underrated or overrated? This is one of the most
It's underrated. Nobody really knows what this is. Have you guys known about this? Do you have any type of information on ancient structures on this building? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Doesn't this look familiar? Don't they got one of these in front of the White House, y'all? What are these? Ley line beams?
The Petit Palais. This is a fine art museum with a beautiful garden.
Look at that entrance, y'all. He's moving quick, man. It takes a minute. It looks like they probably designed these for giants. Look how big the entrance is. Muggs was walking around 12 feet like it was normal.
Art museum with a beautiful garden to have a coffee inside. The Champs-Élysées is a pretty long street, and you will find plenty of luxury shops, but also fast food restaurants and big popular brands. It's a mix of everything. At the end of the street, you can find the iconic
This is what I was looking for, y'all. This ancient structure. They keep telling me it's called something different every time. Arc de Triomphe. Triomphe. There's gotta be something significant about this. Who made this?
Arc de Triomphe, and to finish your day perfectly, you can get a dinner at Le Drugstore to enjoy a beautiful meal with a view on the monument. The Champs-Élysées worth the visit, but in my opinion, it's definitely not the most beautiful street in Paris. What do you think about the Champs-Élysées? Tell me in the comments, and click the link in bio to discover my selection of the best places in Paris. One day with me at the
Wow, they got one in Spain too that's identical to it? So you mean they got one in Spain that looks like this? And then they got one in Paris? It's not adding up, guys. This was made from the same builders, if you ask me. This is beyond fascinating. I can't get enough of these structures. I can literally look at that all day and be in amazement, like the moon. Who did this, you know?
underrated landmarks in the world. This is one of the most underrated landmarks in the world. This is Arc de Triomphe, located in Paris, France. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's just a big arch, right? Wrong. This bad boy is a symbol of triumph, resilience, and French pride. First off, look at this beauty. Majestic doesn't even begin to describe it. Standing at the end of the Champs-Élysées, it's like the grand finale of a spectacular show. The architecture alone will leave you speechless. Did you know that underneath this arch lies the tomb of the unknown soldier? Yeah, it's not just a monument, it's a tribute to the soldiers who fought and died for France during World War I. And let's not forget the view. Climb to the top and you'll be greeted with a panoramic view of Paris that'll blow your mind. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, Notre Dame, they all look even better from up there. Let us know what you think in the comments. Arc de Triomphe, underrated or overrated? This is one of the most
It's underrated. Nobody really knows what this is. Have you guys known about this? Do you have any type of information on ancient structures on this building? I'd love to hear it in the comments below, honestly. They said a good driver in Paris only gets scratches, not dents. That's crazy. The traffic does look insane. The streets look like a perfect grid. Like that city was organized. And it's like everything's leading up to that structure, isn't it? That's crazy. It's like everything is leading up to this circular point. What is the significance? And look, this is the one in Spain that looks just like it. I wonder what's under this building.
One day when placed in Paris, if you want to eat in a restaurant near
Barcelona.
Monument was built as the gate. This is Barcelona's answer to the Arc de Triomphe. In 1988, Barcelona hosted the Universal Exhibition. This monument was built as the gateway to the fair, which was in the Parc de la Ciutadella. It features innovative sculptural and decorative designs. It has now become one of the symbols of Barcelona. This is Barcelona's answer.
I'm sorry, man. You guys just can't keep saying all these structures are made for the fairs. Listen, we're not buying that anymore. We need the truth.
Did you know that you can climb to the top of the Arc de Triomphe? And personally, I think it's better than the top of the Eiffel Tower. To access it, you have to go underground to the ticket office. Tickets are €13 each, or free if you're an EU student under the age of 26. Then after you climb a lot of stairs, and I mean a lot, you'll reach the open rooftop terrace. You get an amazing unobstructed view down the Champs-Élysées, or my favorite thing is at night to wait up there until the top of the hour and watch the Eiffel Tower twinkle. I mean, come on, look at that. But what goes up must go down. So wear good shoes whenever you go because, again, you're doing a lot of stairs. Be sure to follow to see more travel activities all around the world. Did you know that you can climb to the top of the...
On April the 15th, 2019, the world's most famous cathedral was ravaged by fire. The roof went up in flames, and the lofty spire collapsed.
Ether conducting. That's why they did it. That thing was still generating, man. It was like, oh no, y'all can't have this. That's pure evil, man. Pure evil.
Crashing down through the vaulted ceiling. That day, Notre-Dame de Paris became a ruin. Once the fragile building was stabilized, the decision was made to rebuild the cathedral exactly as it was before. But where to start? How do you reconstruct today an 800-year-old monument when no one knows how it was originally built? On April the 15th, 2019,
we're going to have to dive into that on a separate video, guys. Honestly.
Did you know that you can climb to the top of the Arc de Triomphe? And personally, I think it's better than the top of the Eiffel Tower. To access it, you have to go underground to the ticket office. Tickets are 13 euros each, or free if you're an EU student under the age of 26. Then after you climb a lot of stairs, and I mean a lot, you'll reach the open rooftop terrace. You get an amazing unobstructed view down the Champs-Élysées, or my favorite thing is at night to wait up there until the top of the hour and watch the Eiffel Tower twinkle. I mean, come on, look at that. But what goes up must go down. So wear good shoes whenever you go because, again, you're doing a lot of stairs. Be sure to follow to see more travel activities all around the world. Did you know that you can climb to the top of the...
What are the secrets the Eiffel Tower is hiding? The conspiracy has been around for years. There might be an underground bunker and tunnel beneath this iconic structure. Sounds fascinating, right? The Eiffel Tower was built for the 1889 Exposition Universelle, also known as the World's Fair, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. Have you ever visited the Eiffel Tower? Did you feel a mysterious vibe around it? Did you ever hear about the underground bunker theory? It is suggested that Gustave Eiffel, the architect of the tower, built a secret bunker beneath it. Some even claim that there's a hidden tunnel connecting the bunker to a nearby military academy, but nothing confirmed. So, what do you think? Is there a secret bunker beneath the Eiffel Tower, or is it just a myth? Comment below with your thoughts.
I think something's definitely going on underground. There's just no way they just built that for a World Fair. Come on, man. That thing is way too massive to be something that's going to be built just to be taken down. It just doesn't make any sense.
Let's explore the catacombs.
Are you happy to be in Paris?
Paris, life hacks. Don't wait in the rain or the sun like these people. Look for the sign La Carousel du Louvre and go down the stairs. Follow the path till you reach this point. Get your tickets ready and bam! You've now entered the Louvre without having to wait in line. Now go enjoy the Mona Lisa. Paris, life hack.
Damn, they got Mona Lisa there too?
Say what you wanna say, I won't go back. If you wanna hit the road, then let's go then. Let's just go and see the world and just show them what it really means to live life golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden. They're about to see us shine.
This definitely been here. Look how you can go under this bridge, whatever this is, the street. This is probably who built this street? Look at that. That's made of brick.
You know how the Paris sewer system has been getting some bad press lately with illegal food vendors misusing manholes? Well, let's not judge the whole 2,600 kilometers or 1,600 mile system based on a few bad apples. Believe it or not, The Parisian sewer system is pretty awesome. Underneath every street in Paris, there's a whole other world going on. It's like a secret city down there with its own streets and numbers mirroring what's above ground. If you're up for an adventure, check out the Paris Sewer Museum. It's a trip through the cool history and the modern tech that keeps Paris running. And get this, it's not just about sewage. The underground system plays host to electrical wires, fiber optics, and phone lines. Plus, it's home for Paris's drinking water and the treated but non-potable water that keeps our gardens green, our streets clean, and our fountains flowing. What's really neat is that a lot of the system actually works on gravity, not pumps, and it's not just functional, it's eco-friendly too. The bottom line, sewers might not be the most glamorous topic, but the folks working in them deserve a round of applause for keeping everything in check.
So here are 4 museums to visit in Paris. So many people make the same mistake when they come to Paris. They visit the Louvre, maybe 1 or 2 other major museums, but so many people make the same mistake when they come to Paris. They visit the Louvre, maybe 1 or 2 other major museums, but none of the lesser known ones. So here are 4 museums to visit in Paris that are not the Louvre. First up is Musée Jacques Martin-André in the 8th arrondissement. This mansion, built in 1875, is now a museum that displays the art collection of the original owners, along with specialty art exhibits that travel through. Second is the Centre Pompidou in the 4th arrondissement. This incredible museum has tons of important works of art, and it also gives you a great view of Paris on your way to the top floor. Third is Petit Palais in the 8th arrondissement. This incredible building holds tons of works of art. It's also free to get in, and it has a beautiful garden in its center where you can enjoy a meal. Fourth is Musée des Arts Forains in the 12th arrondissement. This massive museum holds carnival rides and games from the 1800s. It's only open to roam freely 2 weeks a year around Christmas. Otherwise, you have to schedule a guided tour. So many people make the same mistake when they come to Paris. They visit the Louvre, maybe 1 or 2 other major museums.
Don't spend more than 15 minutes trying to get into the busiest museum of the world. Once you're done admiring the Louvre from the outside, you're gonna walk past it and you're gonna go to where the carousel is. You're gonna find a huge underground entrance, which is gonna be on the right-hand side if you're entering the Louvre from the front. And if you want to search it up on Apple Maps, it's called Le Carousel Entrance. And here's what they don't tell you about going down the secret entrance. You need tickets to go inside, and that long line outside was just for the tickets. And you definitely don't want to buy them off the street people because they will probably upcharge you. You're gonna go to the Louvre original website, and the tickets are €22. You want to make sure that you're buying the tickets in advance, but if you can't, we were able to get some on the spot, but it was literally by the grace of God. And the Louvre is also closed on Tuesdays, so make sure to keep that in mind. And remember to save this video so you don't spend more than 15 minutes trying to get into the busiest museum of the world.
I like the way you kiss me. I can tell you miss me. I can tell it is.
This is the famous painting stolen by Napoleon from Italy that was cut in half in order to put it here in the Louvre. This was known as one of the most beautiful paintings in the world, the Wedding Feast at Cana, depicting Jesus Christ turning water into wine at a wedding ceremony. But then this other painting got really famous, the Mona Lisa, so that's taking all the spotlight. Well, why was it cut in half? Well, Napoleon invaded Italy, and one of their missions was to save the artwork. Apparently, the artwork was in dire circumstances when this was displayed at the monastery of San Giorgio. They decided to take it and bring it to safety. Well, they tore it out of the walls from the monastery. Apparently the nails came out and a lot of paint scattered all throughout the floor. And then they found out that they can't actually transport this huge painting intact. So they had to tear it in half in order to reassemble it here in the Louvre. And we can actually see the markings of where it was torn in half. Yep. They destroyed the painting in order to quote unquote save a painting. Stay
Are like all the biggest fashion designers in Paris or something. Cruella de Vil and them. The Devil Wears Prada. Are they all over there?
It's been a while I want to make this video because this is one of the most famous museums in Paris. The Centre Pompidou is the Museum of Contemporary Art. The place inside is so huge. One day when placed in Paris, this is the Centre Pompidou. It's been a while I want to make this video because this is one of the most famous museums in Paris. The Centre Pompidou is the Museum of Contemporary Art. The place inside is so huge. You can find a lot of exhibitions everywhere. Even a bookshop, and this is a workshop made by the artists. This one is about love and self-love with video creation, printing and photography. And the most famous part is this escalator right there because even the place is
is a contemporary piece of art.
If you're going to Paris, you absolutely have to come to the Dior Museum. Right beside their flagship store, they have the museum that showcases all of their collections and designs that really shows the evolution of the house through various designers. Every time we finish a different showroom, I thought we were done, but the museum is so big that you could spend almost 2 hours there, really just staring and admiring all of these beautiful pieces. And it felt like you were actually at the runway because of how they showcased everything and all of the designs that are from the runway. Christian Dior has always been one of my favorite fashion houses, so it was really inspiring to see all of this. I love the different showrooms and concepts because they were so immersive that I really saw the designs come to life. It was a really magical experience for only €10, so I highly recommend this to anyone who comes by Paris. They also have a Dior cafe, which was really cool and bougie. I got the hot chocolate for €15, but I think it's something that you could skip. Thank you for watching my journey abroad.
That hot chocolate did look good, I ain't gonna lie. You know that costs money. I can't even afford to watch this.
Challenge, shout with me, dirty pump was 10. Hey, we got the accent challenge, shout with me, dirty pump was 10. Alright, number 1, we got Beanie. Number 2, we got Heat. Number 3, we got It. Number 4, we got Beat. Number 5, we got Number 6, hey, we
That's interesting though. Where is this? That's the real armor they used to use? That is fascinating and cool. Write this down. Musée de Army. Maybe that's what it is.
Then I'm the lady killer. I'm the lady killer.
Take me to church, shout, get the sign of it out.
Amazing, well-known things. You'll see.
Damn. They got the Moors up there, don't they? Tell me this isn't a old Tartarian Moor. Moorish Tartarian.
If you're visiting Paris, you must go to this museum. It used to be an old train station, but it was converted. It's free if you're under 26 or €16 if you're over that. It's better to reserve tickets in advance so you don't have to wait in long lines. The opening time goes between 9:30 and 6 p.m, but keep in mind that it's closed on Monday. There is also a beautiful restaurant located in the upper floor. Right now, there is a Van Gogh temporary exhibition, which is beautiful. Sure, most rooms are filled, but you can even find empty rooms where you can just roam around on your own. And this museum is called Orsay.
Hold on, what type of bone structure is that? If that's an elephant, that thing is 3 times bigger than an elephant. What is this? That looks creepy.
Let's see what it's worth. Start at the Place de la Concorde, the beginning of the street, and you will already discover beautiful monuments like...
If you guys made it this far, be sure to hit a like and subscribe button. Man, we went out underground Paris. They had raves going on. Again, if you guys are just now seeing this is your first video you ever watched, I highly recommend you go back, watch the Olympic Paris Games as we reverse engineer what they were doing on those ceremonies. The symbolism is outlandish. The blasphemy, crazy. They need to stop it, man. But, hey, that's why we're on these waters. And remember to always keep your head on the straight swivel. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.